I'll start again. When you do these shows, one of the things that happens is that you think, right, I've got everything done. I've got the intro done, got the intro music, that's sorted. All the levels are perfect. Everything's working exactly as you need. And what you do, just before we went on, I just muted the microphone because I wanted to cough. Not a problem. Forgot to turn it off, or turn the mic back on. Anyway, here we are. We moved up here 3 months ago. Quick recap, moved here 3 months ago. It's cold, -5 last night. So we're kind of coming to terms with that. But apart from that, everything's working out really well up here. And I think that the most important thing is that we're able to actually deliver these shows on a regular basis. We've got more space and all those things that go with it. So today's show, the point of these streams, as I've said before, of course, yes, ultimately I would like to, and I will, and I do provide consultancy services to companies. Fine. But the point is that there has to be a change. And when it comes to new business development, there is a fundamental problem that every business experiences. And it hasn't changed and won't change until people become aware that there is an alternative. And one of the problems that you will find, and I'm speaking in a way to salespeople, because if you're a CEO, then you know what the score is. You already know what the score is. We've known it for a long time. We're told lots of things by lots of different people, and we trust that they're telling us the truth, or telling us, being genuine about what they're talking about. But when it comes to changing, and this is directly to the salespeople, when it comes to changing people's minds, you will come across problems, because what you're going to tell them is along the lines of, what we've been doing doesn't work and we have to change it. And I've been listening to some guy on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, and he says it doesn't work because of these reasons, and he's got an alternative. Now, if someone has set their marker and put their stake in the ground and said, this is what we're doing, telling them that it doesn't work and that there's an alternative might not be received particularly well. I've had very large companies say, oh, we're too small for that. I mean, you don't get any smaller than this. So people's perception of it is, oh, it's too big, it's too grand. And it's like, no, it's not too grand at all, because you could use your mobile to do it. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about a fundamental change to the way that new business is generated. And that's why it's critical for salespeople to understand it, so that you can recognize where it's going wrong. Someone gives you a hard time about your pipeline and your target, you've got no response. I've said this lots of times before, salespeople have been sidelined. You will do as you're told because everything's happening in marketing. They're the ones you've got to follow. And marketing are pursuing a strategy, series of strategies that they have been told should work. And then go, look at our tech stack. And that's what creates the problem. That is what the fundamental problem is that the technologies and strategies that are required to communicate to new businesses to get them on side kind of don't exist, because they are passive. They're waiting for a prospect to click on something so that they can get details from them and so on. And as I said last week and the week before, business owners do not want to fill out forms. They hate it, quote unquote. The marketing fraternity have known about this since 2014. And at that point, 97% didn't want to fill out forms. Now it's 100%, according to demand base. So if you're looking at a demand gen lead gen ABM mechanism to provide you with leads, it ain't going to work and it ain't going to change anytime soon, because it's the mechanism doesn't. But conversely, for consumers, it does work, because we haven't got a problem filling out a form on Facebook or on Instagram, whatever, and giving our details, and that all feeds into a marketing automation platform and keeps us, and we get emails and information from them and special offers or whatever. We're good with that, but not when it comes to selling high ticket products, services, or whatever. So that's kind of a brief kind of overview. What I'm going to do, as I have done before, I'm going to go into our kind of our sequence or series and so on. For people that don't know and haven't been following this or haven't seen this show before, just a very brief overview. Who's Sales Exchange? We are a new business consultancy that uses live streaming to attract new businesses and to show companies how to engage with very, very few people, but to engage the largest, potentially the largest possible audience you have ever experienced in your history as a company. So that's the first thing. The shows are about explaining the historical problems, because there's no point anybody pitching up and saying, oh, you're all doing it wrong. And the response is, so who do you think you are? And so I've got nearly 40 years experience in direct sales and technology SaaS and services, and latterly more in marketing, because I wanted to understand why it wouldn't work properly. In terms of what we're recommending, why should people change? Well, if you know what your figures are, and you already do, they're probably indelibly imprinted in your mind, that your turnover and targets and profitability is not where you want it to be. You want it to be higher. Nobody ever said, oh, I tell you what, listen guys, we're going to increase your commission and we're going to decrease your targets, and we don't want any new logos or any new business. Said nobody ever. So everybody wants more. I get that. We all get that. But the logic of getting more business, you think, should be formulaic, and it's not. It's finger in the air all the time. Why is that? It's because all this money's been spent on marketing, and it doesn't deliver the rewards. It doesn't deliver the business. We broadcast from Stone in Staffordshire. We do a live show specifically to show businesses like yours that it can be done. Does that sound a bit strange? No, it shouldn't sound strange. But the reason being is that you need to see, before you will do something, you want to see someone doing it naturally. You couldn't just have someone pitch up at your office and say, oh, go and do a live show. It's like, you can't relate to it. Whereas even at the beginning of this, so my microphone wasn't switched on. It's like, I've got a red button here. It's a red button. I can see the red button, but I missed it. So things go wrong. But you've got to you've got to see people being comfortable in front of the camera. So you will know about being comfortable in front of the camera. That's what this is all about. And there's another fundamental part to it, which is this doesn't require editing. You can do it. You can record this beforehand, or you can record it as you're doing now, as I'm doing. I record all of these, and afterwards you can edit them. You can say, right, well, if there were 3 or 4 people, you can adjust it. But that's a complete other live show, I think. But the point is to see it happening. So this is live, and the point of today, which we'll come on to about the show flow, is about who does it and how do you do it and what should you do. And finally, it says, how can your business do the same? Just, you can start with one of them. Yeah, this is not complicated, but as we move through this, and if you look at some of the previous shows, you will see that the potential for this is beyond anything that anybody has ever communicated to you in the past from a digital marketing perspective. And that's why I say digital marketing for B2Bs does not work. It works for consumers, but not for B2Bs, because you and I as buyers, we don't want to talk to salespeople. We never have. We'll do it in our own sweet time. Thank you very much. And I had one. Yeah, I constantly get them. I'm sure you get them as well. So I get this message through from LinkedIn. It's, I've seen your profile. It's pretty spectacular. I think we can work together and we can show you how you can generate more income than you've ever done before. I'll come and show you. And I look at this guy. You must be about 22. Nothing wrong with age. I'm sure you're really bright. But you clearly haven't even bothered to look at the profile, read the profile, or look at the website. So how many people do that? So that's what buyers have to contend with, all these people that I'm going to show you how to run your business. So the point is that I've got a couple of post-it notes here that I mustn't forget to mention. So the point is that anybody can do this. It is not complicated, and the more technology you get on, you acquire for this, it's to increase the professionalism of what's being done. Yeah, I'm not going to read every single one of these out. This is the 10th live show today. These are 9 live shows. You can go back over this and look at them either on YouTube, if you go to our YouTube channel, and they're all in sequence there, so you can go back over each one of them, and naturally there's our website. But thinking like last week, someone mentioned last week about it seemed really complicated. And my response was, oh, yeah, kind of, but not for you. Because if you're in sales, you are employed for your brain and your mouth, meant very politely and nicely. It's your intellect and ability to communicate your business to a prospect. And that's what this is about. That's what today's about. It's just that point. It's not about the kit. It's not about the technology. We could spend days talking about technology, but it's just about how you communicate. There's some information there. If you want to get in touch, please do so. So the point is that it's what do you say? What do you say to people? You think on your feet. You go to an appointment, the few that you do get, or you do a webinar, not a webinar, but a Zoom team calls. And the thing is, you have to think on your feet. You look at the person, you look around their office, you think, well, okay, what have they got there? And what can I try and glean from looking at this person online? And the point is that you know, what someone says, you process it and will respond to them. And that's what communication's about, isn't it? It's nothing else. And so when it comes to doing these live shows, there's a sequence to it. It's what you've been used to, and it's a bit like I've said on there. I can't even read it. Mastering magazine style broadcasting, and it is broadcasting. This is broadcasting. And you think, it's just sitting in an office with a camera on. Yep. Well, okay, I've got 2 cameras. Yeah. So we can go over to camera 2. But the point is that if you've got this, look, no hands, you've got all this technology, you can communicate something quite spectacular. And that's the point. That's the absolute point. Because, you know, if I make a mistake, say you see me make a mistake, so what? It's because I'm human. And that's what you want to get across as your company. You want to communicate your authenticity. And it's far better to do it this way round than I can't reach the camera, but you know, being right up close to a webcam on your laptop. People are sick of it. It shows a proper a lack of almost respect for the other person. You're selling 100,000 or whatever price value product it is, or whatever you're selling, and you can't even be bothered to get a webcam, you know, let alone cameras like this. but it's not that. It's how it's received, and that's really, really, really critical. So, so what we're doing here is we're going over to we're going to look at your topics, whatever your topics are. Yeah. Doesn't matter, but whatever they are, you have a variety of different topics. The order of a show, and looking at different content and graphics, what you would present and what would be used, different overlays and a call to action. Because the critical thing is a call to action. There's no point doing all of this without saying, well, we'll just see you next week. It's got to be, if you liked what you saw, if you started looking, get in touch with us. We'll help you do this. We'll help you do that, and so on. So that's the kind of the critical thing. Now, talk about critical areas. The three business stages are outbound engagement and inbound, and you've heard this said again and again and again. And the question is, or the issue is, so tell me, not literally, but how many hours over the past 5 working days, how many hours, except those in the States who had Thanksgiving, but how many hours have you spent speaking to prospects in the past 5 days? New business prospects. You as salespeople, I'm not talking about BDRs or telesales, just salespeople. And there's your answer. Not enough. Just, it's never enough. But the issue here with outbound engagement and inbound is outbound, well, you have to understand, we do understand that marketing departments don't do enough outbound. They're sitting on their hands because it's inbound. They're waiting on inbound. They're doing all the inbound stuff, yeah? All the social media, blah, blah, blah. Keeping that there. So we don't have to do anything. We're just waiting for people to contact us. We're putting all this information out there, really. That's why you've got no pipeline. Because the people that are really interested are not going to contact you. Not ever. Why would they? Not until they're ready. And they are few and far between. So starting with outbound, how do you make sure your company is doing that properly? Because the engagement bit is where you're involved, with cameras and everything else. Okay, we'll come on to that in a minute. So outbound is, it's absolutely critical that it is a daily activity, however that works. However that works out, because without it, who's your market? Now, I've kind of gone through this stuff before. So you've got, tell your prospects you exist. I mean, it is 101, yeah? But if you want to really go and upset everybody, go and find out how many people have been contacted in the past 4 weeks who constitute your total addressable market. Because, I mean, I'm massively hot on this because marketers want a big budget and a massive tech stack to put on their CV. Oh, you're being churlish now, Nigel. You should be saying that. Come on. No, I'm serious. Now, how beneficial has it been? Zilch. It doesn't work. It's not supposed to work. So put that to one side. So the only way, sales is a numbers game. We're in sales. We can talk on the level. Sales is a numbers game, right? So if you have to start with the biggest possible number, that's a good starting point. So if we said, for example, in the UK, you could sell to 10,000 companies. That's not unreasonable, because companies with companies with 50 to 250 employees, there are 36,000 of them. Companies with 250 and above, there's 8,000 of them. That gives us 44,000 companies that have more than 50 employees. 50 employees will have a turnover around about 5 or so million, which means they could probably afford what you're selling them. So a quarter of them, 10,000. Yeah, that's fair enough, isn't it? Making sure that to analyse this, because this is all in preparation for you sit in front of the camera. Because if that isn't done, sitting in front of the camera, complete waste of time. Don't bother. So, you know who you've sold to. The company knows who it has sold to over the past 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Right? What are the SIC codes of the companies that you sold to? Give them to a database company. Go, how many companies can we? How many names of the of companies are there in the UK? Just deal with the UK. In the UK that we can sell to with these SIC codes. You go, oh, that's not enough. We need some more. Fine, get some more. But this is absolute 101. So you've got so now you've got your 10,000 name database. Your 10,000 name database is your total addressable market, your TAM. That is why the company went into business in the first place, because it recognised a total addressable market and knew it could sell to a small percentage of them. Now, what happens? For the past 70 years, everybody's been using BDRs and telesales. Because telesales will ring them up and go, do you want to buy something? No. Do you want to buy something? No. Do you want to buy something? No. It's nothing more complicated than that, and we all know it. So the bottom line is that a telesales BDR can only call does only call max about 50 people a day, 300 people a week. They find about one person a week that might be interested, 300 to one shot. Not good enough odds for me. Not happy. Not doing that. So you've got a 10,000 name database. You message 10,000 people. This is making sure your company is doing this. Yeah, this is a preamble. Make sure if they're not doing anything like this, that's another reason why you ain't getting any business and you're not getting any leads. It's because your marketing people have missed the point. And that's what this is all about. You have to communicate with the largest possible number. From that, there will be a derivative which will say this many people are looking. And all the clever people out there have said, oh, about 1%. Between 1 and 15%. So if you've got a 10,000 name database and you're messaging them every week, 1%, 100 people every week are starting to begin their buying journey. And they say it's between 1 and 15%. So between 100 and 1,500 people are thinking about starting their buying journey every week. So that's a good start. But that's just emailing them, which costs, I don't know, 10,000 emails, 150 quid a month. Courtesy of MailChimp. And it's like, you can send that, I don't know, 12 times, 10,000 emails. That's 4 a week, 3 a week. So the point here is that if your company is not communicating to your largest possible market or number of potential prospects, how on earth do you expect to get any business? It's beyond a needle in a haystack, because if you can only phone 300 of them in a week, and those people have gone to the loo, gone to lunch, gone on holiday, not in, moved away from the desk, and all the other reasons, not happening. That's why it's so bad. So you take that same database, upload it to LinkedIn, and then put messaging adverts, banner adverts on the news feeds of all those 10,000 people. So now you're emailing them and they see who you are. There is nothing else you can do. You could, if they were selling tractors, for example, or people were buying tractors, you could advertise in a tractor magazine or a tractor website. You get my drift, and put banner adverts on those types of websites. But the bottom line is, there isn't another special way of doing this. But if you listen to marketers, they go, well, you do pay-per-click on Google. Really? But to do that, on pay-per-click on Google brings you back round to demand gen, lead gen, ABM, fill out a form. Nobody wants to fill out a form, so it's a waste of time. So this is critical, that this, you could say, this movement about moving away from digital marketing and moving in towards this communicating and prospecting at scale. That's where this comes into. You've got to recognise what doesn't work and why it doesn't work, recognise what can be done in its place, and then you realise, wait a second, so we can message 10,000 people every single month on an ongoing basis. Yes, for 150 quid. Blows out your marketing automation platform costs. And just think about this, and the directors will know about this. So your costs for marketing automation are based upon multiples of thousands of people that are contacts within your system, and it's like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, and so on. And that's how they confirm how you're going to structure your monthly costs, your subscription costs for the platforms. Numbers are quite high, aren't they? Think about that. Think about how many customers you've actually got. Think about how many deals you get a year. Yet the marketing automation platforms accommodate thousands and thousands of contacts. The reason they do that is because it's consumer land. It's designed for consumers, and you'd have thousands and thousands of people that you would communicate to, which makes it all make sense. But if you're trying to make this work in B2B, you're just not getting the ratios back. That's why another reason it doesn't work. So you've uploaded it to LinkedIn. You've got your news feeds. You've got adverts happening on the news feeds, and you've also got adverts and content being promoted through those same channels. But there is nothing else. And the thing is, you basically want them to follow you. You don't need a direct communication or conversations with them. You just want them to follow you, to start becoming aware of you in the background. And your job once that's done, so you've told them who you are, you told them what you're doing, come and have a look. Come and watch us. And so they say, well, okay, so you just present who you are. That's all they want to know. They want to get to know, like, and trust you. They already pretty much know what your kit does. Us business owners, we ain't stupid. Yeah? So we pretty much, but we just want to, okay, I'll have a look. I'll dip in there. Might dip in again. But the bottom line is, yes, you can do the broadcast to live stream series, because you never know who's ready. You have no idea who's ready at what time. And so one of the critical things, like I mentioned before, is anonymity. You have to allow people to be anonymous. They don't, it's nothing personal. It's just, I don't want you to know who I am. If I want to have a look, I'll have a look. I don't want to be pestered by your BDRs thinking, oh, look, we've got a hot one here. So, and like I've said every time before, once you've done a stream, then you convert it to a podcast and you engage who knows how many people. But you have to grasp the significance of this. And I'm just going to touch on inbound after this, because you've done the outbound. You've told them you exist. You're now able to engage with them, whoever they are, wherever they are, every week at scale. It doesn't matter where your salespeople live, completely irrelevant. But you're able to communicate to your total addressable market and engage with every single one of them if you wanted to, if they wanted to. So whether you get 10 people watch you or 1,000 people watch you, irrelevant. Costs don't change. You have to think about this. So then once they've seen you, once you've been talking to them, once you've been communicating your call to action, so go and have a look at the website. we've got information on there. We've got this, we've got that. So from your streaming show, they get pointed to your website. But also there are some specific elements when it comes to content. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to blast through this really quickly because you're involved in sales. You're sitting in front of the camera. That's the point of this. But again, it's for you to recognize why you're not getting the business. And you're not getting the business because just recently Google did this thing called the really useful update. Really useful content update, whatever. And lots of people found that their articles or their blogs weren't getting found. Traffic dropped off a cliff. Now, the thing is, you have to understand that Google have a criteria that says that we're going to index content that suits our prospect, our customers. Every person that goes onto Google is a Google customer, not yours. Bitter pill to swallow, yeah, big time. But they're not your customer. Google are serving them up free access to content that you've created. If your content's not good enough, they won't index it and won't point people to your website. End of story. Fact. So what makes a piece of content valid, I guess, is the best way. Well, it's got to be about 4,000 words. Well, 2,000 to 6,000 words. I just plumbed for the middle figure. It's between 2,000 and 6,000 words with an index, clickable index at the top, bullet list, number lists, all this information that makes it an engaging, useful, intelligent piece of information to read. That's what they're after. But if you look at it in terms of, I saw this a little while ago. It was a motocross blog website being set up by a group of people that just did blogging. They weren't motocross experts. So they've looked at all the other, they seemed like a good niche that they were going to work in. So they look around it. They go, oh, we're going to write about this. So they look at all these other pieces of content out there. They not copy all of them, but they take information from all of them, add pictures, add graphics, add this, that, and the other, and make it really, really interesting, and get to number one on the blog list. Why do they want to get to number one on Google? Because they get paid by the banner ads that advertise on their blog site. So you can be a blogger, but it doesn't mean you're an authority in everything that you're talking about. You're just orchestrating content so that you can drive traffic so they can earn a few quid by someone clicking on an advert. That's the point. When it comes to your website, you're selling X, Y, and Z, business, professional, technology, SaaS, or services. You haven't got other people's adverts on your website, rarely. You want them to buy directly from you. So your website's not going to be very attractive if you're not getting that much traffic. And if you are getting stacks of traffic as a business, you better look at it carefully, because there are some very unscrupulous people out there that will force clicks to prove that you're getting traffic. Oh, isn't that naughty? Absolutely. Criminal, because it gives a false sense of achievement by the businesses. They keep pushing money, keep throwing money at it, and it all goes down the pan. So the point is that you have to write for your prospect. And you know what you've spoken to them about. You know what they're interested in. And if you don't, go and ask them. What would you be interested in? But the point is to not worry about search. If you worry about search, it's the same thing. Search is designed predominantly surrounding consumers, because that's the greatest traffic. Simple as that. But one of the things that we have is what we call Social 444. And it's, you produce adverts, graphic adverts or videos, and you send those adverts out automated every day, 4 adverts 4 times a day for 4 weeks, and repeat. And you build on it. We've got something like 300 odd adverts going out every month. Wait for it. It costs 50 quid a month. So this is not about money. This is absolutely not about money. And the adverts drive traffic to the content. The point is to educate the prospects. They want to be educated. You're teaching them how to buy from you. There's no wham bam thank you ma'am doing this. This is teach them, keep teaching them, keep showing them. Do it selflessly. And that's what we're going to lead into, educating prospects is key. It says, oh, if you like this, of course you can buy from us. We're always here. And that's the big deal. And within all of this time frame structure, you must always remember, going back to 1997, Dr. Jeffrey Lant says that it took 10 touches 25 years ago. People had to see your content 10 times, adverts and this, that and the other, before they became familiar with you. I'm not going to buy from you, just familiar with you. Fast forward 25 years, takes 300 touches. It takes 300 attempts because 1 in 10, 1 in 20 get through. So you're looking. So I'm getting mixed. I need to follow this. Yeah. So now it's 30 touches and 1 in 5 to 1 in 10 get through. Go 1 in 10. So now it's 300. So you're looking at a massive increase because of the amount of noise that's out there. And the only way you can communicate this and cut through that noise is through repetition, which is what marketing's always done. But they're not doing it now, not in this particular way. And like I said before, the competition is not just other B2Bs. You're dealing with the luxury brands. And the luxury brands pump out a lot of good content. And I mean, in terms of the stuff that we put out, we've got lots of adverts. This goes onto social media and it links to our content. This is a fraction of it. So back to you. Your live show segments. So if you think, excuse me a second. If you think last time you had a meeting and you're communicating with whoever you're sitting in front of, and you don't go into your meeting and go, tell me your requirements and I'll sell you this product. There's the preamble, isn't there? Of course there's the preamble. So you look around, see what pictures they've got, pictures of their family, pictures of their sports, pictures of hobbies, all this kind of stuff. What can you glean from sitting there looking at them? Yeah. So you can communicate in a way that gets them to know, like, and trust you. That's the point. Selling is easy. It's when you try and force it, it becomes difficult. So the same with live shows and the different segments. You're saying, you're looking this way, and this business that you're looking at has all these different things that we do, and you're giving them a flavour of each part of your business each time you're communicating something. And the kind of the critical thing here is storytelling. So here you are, potentially sitting with one of your colleagues. So you're both in front of the camera and you're talking about this happened, that happened, something over to you, whatever. But there's this banter that's going on. People are, they're dipping into your conversation. That's what they want. That's what they want to see. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear that authenticity, that authentic chit-chat banter backwards and forwards. And as I'm talking, you're probably looking at the list there, if you can see it. I mean, you probably put it on a larger screen, on your larger screen. But, you've got how-to. This is how you use our product. And I'm not going to read every single one of that. I can't even read it myself. But, you're at this point of saying, look, these are all the different segments that you can include in your show. But you'd only need 2 or 3. You wouldn't want more than 2 or 3. Yeah? Because the point is that if you're going to do a magazine type show, how many subjects do you want to cover? This is kind of a bit different because your customers are buying your product. Okay? With what this is about, this is slightly different because I'm saying, well, actually, I suppose in a way. So you're telling us marketers are wrong. Yeah, they're all wrong and you need to do it this way. But I'm not saying, but you need to buy this product here from me. I'm saying you need to reevaluate what you're doing as a company and make the necessary changes. That's a slightly more complex approach because you're dealing with egos, you're dealing with people that have put a great deal of money into doing this and are desperate to get a return on it. And I'm saying, yeah, but it doesn't work. So we have our own resistance to this, but that's neither here nor there because it's objection handling, isn't it? Of course it is. So with yours, you sell a product, a given product, and they're aware of your product, your type of product. So you're looking at captivating them at the time they start their journey. We're back to the 1 to 15% again. So they're only going to watch you if they're starting to think about it, which is great, whether you've got 10, 50 or 100 or 200 people. I mean, brilliant. But you will be speaking to more, same as I do. I speak to more people now doing this than ever. It's jaw-dropping. So the point is that you can pick and choose any of these. And the reason I say you as a, because you're going to talk about it. I say that the salespeople should be sitting in front of the camera. Nobody else. Pre-sales, maybe. Give a shout out to pre-sales. But pre-sales and sales, you're in front of the camera. Nobody else needs to be in front of the camera. But don't worry about all this tech. You can't see all the technology down here, but you've got buttons and one-touch buttons and this, that, and the other. That's what gets set up as part and parcel. But you choose what you want to talk about. And the simple thing is, you decide that in advance. Well, in advance. It's not like, right, we're going to turn the camera on, now decide what you want to talk about. It's planned weeks in advance. All the slides are prepped in advance. Everything's done in advance. So there's nothing to worry about. But what I'm saying is you should be in front of the camera. Nobody else. You've earned the right to be in front of the camera because you are now being offered up to be the person that can sell at scale. You've never been able to do it before. Nobody has. Not until now. Can you imagine? I mean, imagine whatever your target is. Imagine how many people you get to see in a month. Imagine making that 10 times that number. You know what your analysis, your success rate is. Yeah? So however many people you speak to, communicate with, and from that conversation, discovery call, conversation, presentation, demonstration, meeting with the board, close the deal, ring the bell. You know all those figures. Imagine increasing that 10 times. You have to, you can't not unhear that. Imagine doing 10 times the business that you're doing already. And if you're a director, listen to this, with a fraction of the staff that you've got now. It's a fact. It's a fact of life. I'm saying that the old work doesn't work. This is just work. It's nothing different. It just requires less people, but it's actually more effective than the work that you have been doing. The work that didn't work, this work does work, So if we could kind of look at a couple of elements, you've got your how-to. You've then got, say news this week. What's news? It could, I don't know, a new product could have come out. Anything. Could have bought a new building, could have taken more stuff. It doesn't matter. People want to know what's going on. And you've seen all of these. You've You've been watching television all your life. You know what a magazine show is. All you have to do is be there with, you don't even need the makeup. You just need to be there when the camera goes on, talk. And it is that the cameras are being switched between camera 1 and camera 2, or you can press the wrong button and the lower third can come up. It's still not a problem. I just happened to touch the wrong button. Or you can go to camera 2. So the whole point of this is that it's just not complicated. But what your prospects want to hear is what you've got to say. And just plan it in advance. So, we're looking at this. We've got so many mice around here. You've got news. You've got interviews. You've got existing customers. Case studies. I mean, the list is endless. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Interviews. Oh, we've got 40 customers. Go and interview them all. That's 40 segments of your show. So what I want you to do is to get a sense of excitement about what you can do, and to be able to communicate to thousands of people just sitting in an office. So we've got interviews, news of the week, and then we've got adverts. I should go back. So that was the last one. And then we've got adverts. So you've seen. So the reason I'm putting this up, because I'm going to show some clips in a second. How you present is entirely up to you. I mean, you could do it this way. You think, well, that's the news. How can you do that on the news? You go, well, just like that. The series is on the website. It just kind of, not a sarcasm, but they were just news clips. You can do that as well. Press a button, go live for 5 minutes. Bit of news. It's as creative as you want it to be, but with the constant thing here is communicating to your 10,000 people. So then we've got adverts, and I'm going to go through some clips. I'm going to show you some clips. And I'm going to just I'll show the clip and I'll explain afterwards. But it's more than just a bit of fun. It's how can you present your company to be different to everybody else? Because that's what this is about. Your competition are not doing this. Absolutely not doing this. So let's go for the first one. Let's go for this is Stomp, and this is a type of music related. See for yourself. So that's Stomp. So you've seen this before. If you just go on to this next slide here, and you'll see this is adverts. We'll be back after these messages. And the point is that we have all seen adverts all our lives. So if you're doing a live show, why not do your own adverts? It's, we talk about call to actions. You brought out a new software release. Do an advert. You've got a new platform. Anything. Do an advert. Here's another one. You'll like this one. And the point of this one was that we're always looking at different ways of communicating who we are, what we do, because nobody's doing it. And again, it's to impress upon you these things are achievable. How come this little company is churning out all this stuff? Well, my background's in sales, not in this. It's not in broadcast, or it's not in film or anything like that at all. So you have to be banging a drum about being creative to captivate the interest of your prospects. So have a look at this one. And so, you know, with something like that, you think, well, you know, it's quite nice. You've got moving stuff, you've got video in it, you've got, you know, all this kind of stuff. Even our opening intro, you know, I like it. Yeah, I like it. You know, we've got the countdown, and then we've got the things that slide across. We've just got I've got one more on the kind of intro side, which is our I think it's this one. I think it's this one. And so these clips, these motion graphics and so on, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pre-made templates around the world in different companies. And it's quite spectacular. So you get hold of it. I've got a bit of a problem here with one of my cables, or it might be one of my, because I want to show you something on a website in a second. So maybe that might be okay. Anyway, there are templates, and you get these templates, change the colours, change the pictures, change the text, you're good to go. And that is what you have to consider. This, whilst it's technical, there are people thinking, well, this is all, you know, it's a bit too much. No, it's not. It's not. And again, we're still talking pennies here. We're not talking lots of money. Literally pennies. You know, you can have a subscription to a platform and you can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. But the critical thing is, it's about how do you communicate a story? How do you tell your stories? We've got one last one I'll just show you. So this is again about stories using clips, just stock video clips. Here we go. Bit of a problem there. Let me just go back to that, because technical. That's typical, isn't it? I had a problem with my laptop, and it's I'm sure it's just that little adapter, an HDMI adapter, and it was making my one of the screens flick on and off that I wanted to show you. But if I go back to our HD, So there you have it. So one of the things that with this is that when I go from this view here to this view here, it's one button, just one button. And if I go from this view to this view, it's one button. Playing lots of different clips, you could put them under one button, but I thought I'd be all right. I won't have to do that. I know all this kit works. And I accidentally touched a button. But the point is, the critical point is that anybody can do this. And if you know the kit, you know what, well, this is how it's supposed to work. I can put it right again. And that's why I want you in front of the camera and somebody else runs the technical, runs the buttons. And every single thing can be done in advance. And one of the really, really important things to be aware of is that you can I could shoot this and not broadcast live, record it, edit it afterwards, and then broadcast it as if it were live with all the mistakes taken out. This is really important to remember because some people go, oh, God, we've got 200 people online. You could be doing it in a different way. Record it and just press stream and it plays the recording and you can sit there and watch. Oh, look, we've got 500 people. Oh, look at that. Fancy that. Especially some companies have got 10, 15, 20, 40, 60,000 people following them. Imagine how many people could watch. So it always comes back down to perfect preparation prevents poor performance. Yeah. So if we go on to this, which is the next step, really, is it a call to action? Yeah, I guess so. Is you've got to talk about it with your colleagues. You've got to talk about it, say, listen, I've had a look at this. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we could set this up? Would you be up for it? And then as part and parcel of it, review our website. And this is what I was trying to show. So it must have been that adapter because the screen's not gone off. Let me just go on to this. Hopefully there won't be another problem. I'll go on to there and then I'll go on to there and you can see. So this is our... oops, let's go down to here. So this is our site, our go live page on our website, and as you can see, we've got a fair amount of information there. And just as I scroll down here, step by step. So we've got stage 1. So we've got the article, the information to read or watch or download, or video to watch, or PDF to read. We've got stage 2. Again, same again. We've got, it's a video, PDF, podcast. We've got all the information there about what you need to look at and so on. Stage 3, which is promotion to prospect to podcasting, or promotion to prospecting to podcasting. And finally, we've got project management. You know, what we do, our deliverables, all that kind of stuff. So absolutely everything that you would need is on this one page, which is just Sales Exchange, and then you'll see it across the top, go live. So it's really important that, press the right button now, yeah? It's really important to review and understand what this is about, because the scale is unlike anything you will have ever experienced. And unless you're able to start at that top number, you're never going to achieve what you want, what you set out to achieve. It doesn't matter whether you're a CEO or a salesperson or an investor or managing investments. The bottom line is, if your investment or your company or your whoever you work for is not attacking that total addressable market number as a priority, as 101 first port of call, you are going to be destined for problems. And 91% of businesses go bust after 10 years. And if that's what's, are you going to be the lucky 9%? it's what you have to think, constantly think about. As far as we're concerned, well, yeah, if it's something you want to do, we'll organise an evaluation meeting and just see what you've got, see what you need to do, what we think would be the kind of a natural progression for you, and all sensible things. Do you go all in, or do you do one thing at a time? Do it in parallel. Parallel's good. So for you guys, for salespeople, you've got to think planning. You've got to think about what you could do. We've got lots and lots and lots of ideas for you to start off with. Don't think any longer than half an hour. So you've got less than or circa 10 minutes per segment. So it doesn't take very, I mean, they don't need to be long. They can be as long as you want. Not a problem. Yeah. So, 3 segments, 10 minutes apiece, a couple of adverts, you're done. You're good to go. So it's not a big deal. And if you've got more than a couple of salespeople, rotate the people that are doing the shows if you want. You'll find some that will warm to it very well. In terms of your technical team, you may have someone already. If not, there are thousands and thousands of people that want to do this because they want to get into the film industry and the broadcast industry, but those jobs are few and far between. So they've got loads of people going into film and television school and coming out not being able to get a job. Why do you think there's so many content creators online on YouTube? There's loads of people, loads and loads of people. Plus there's Fiverr and people by the hour and Upwork and all the other places that you can get people to do specific things for you. And the bottom line is, what do your customers want to see? You've had great banter in front of them. You've got stories of things that have happened with other salespeople, by other salespeople. All the stories that you tell in the pub. But that's the point. It's how if you try and make it too serious, you will come across as being disingenuous. Just be yourself. You got to be yourself. You don't come and get on here and go, hello London or hello UK. There's a select few people dotted around the country that want to see you and listen to what you've got to say. That's it. It's not complicated. And they're kind of as a parting shot, businesses don't buy from digital marketers. They buy from salespeople. Always have done. So get in front of the camera and sell to them at scale. That's what this has always been about. And we're done. Show 11. I think it really, whether you want to kind of, if you're in sales and you want to watch this as well, we have to talk about the content and the structure of content. It's really, really, really important. And that'll probably be our penultimate episode. We'll do one after that. Then it's December and all the stuff that happens in December. But we will still be streaming our live shows, but restreaming them. And then when I've got when December's out the way, we'll also be doing or showing a sequence or series of adverts, of video adverts that are auto posted in the same way that our graphic adverts are. Clearly and obviously they take a bit of time to get prepped up, but we want to test and see what the engagement rates are to see if they're different to standard graphic adverts, and then we'll tell you what the results are and go and do it. So that's it from me. I hope you got something out of today. I think that the long term for you and your company can be absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. So that's it. We're on the hour, just gone past the hour. I hope you enjoyed it. have a great rest of the day and tomorrow, and a nice weekend, and keep warm, because that's what we'll have to do. Anyway, bye for now. See you next time.